Scott Beck, thank you for joining me on Scott on Security. Well, I was listening to a very interesting interview with the Louisiana Secretary of State, and he was talking about the state of IT, information technology, specifically information technology providers, and the state of cybersecurity. Now, how did he tie this all together? Well, rather interesting. He started using terms like malpractice, comparing it to doctors who know that a victim is ill, but not providing information on how to fix it, or lawyers not providing information in regards to a case. So basically what he's come out and said, and I've talked about this in the past, one of IT's dirty little secrets is there is no governing body. If you take your car to a mechanic, there's a black book, and they can at least tell you how long it should take to have something fixed. There is certain standards in the accounting world, with our CPAs, that they have to do certain exams and pass certain exams and hold a certain level, that there's an organization you can complain to if someone has let you down and it's found to have been malpractice. Doctors have got them, lawyers have got them, plumbers and electricians have got organizations that govern their level of knowledge. IT does not. Yet, information technology and technology in general runs what percentage of businesses? Not quite 100%. I know there are still a few organizations out there that can operate without the need of technology, but very few. Most rely on technology, yet we as an industry have been letting down our clients, not talking about cybersecurity to the point that we really should be. And the Louisiana Secretary of State made a very astute observation. And I was just talking down in Dallas, so I know where he's coming from on this, and it makes sense to me. Is that a lot of IT guys or business owners or whatnot, when they're talking to clients or they're talking to businesses, they're afraid to point out some obvious issues, obvious problems that are leaving the client susceptible or open to cyber criminals, ways for cyber criminals to get in. And the reason they're not bringing it up is, well, I guess it could be for several reasons. Fear of rejection. Hey, client, I've noticed that you're not running breach detection software. So if the bad guys get through your perimeter defenses and get on your network, listen, law enforcement says they lived there for 200 days, and you will have no idea the bad guys are in your network. So we really should have this breach detection software on the network so we have an idea. So we can close that window down. Pretty easy conversation to have, but unfortunately, we think, and by we, I'm talking about my industry, a lot of my industry thinks, hey, if I bring this up to the client's not going to understand what I'm talking about. They're not going to see the value in putting these protections in, so I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to bring it up. I'm afraid they're just going to say no. Maybe they're going to start looking for another IT service provider because they think I'm too expensive. So we as an industry are not educating our clients enough, and we're leaving them vulnerable. And that's exactly what the Louisiana Secretary of State was saying, and why he was pointing out that, it is kind of getting to malpractice. If we are not informing clients, if we're not explaining it to them and giving them the opportunity, how are you supposed to know what you don't know to secure yourself if we as an industry aren't educating you, right? So I'm going to make a commitment right now. I'm already doing it. But I'm going to double down on it. So if you're a client of mine already, be prepared, because our next quarterly session, we're going to have another chat around some of the security stuff. And listen, it's up to a business owner if they want to take on or what the acceptable risks are that they're willing to take on themselves. But if you don't educate them, and if you don't explain to them what the risks are, how are they supposed to make an informed decision? That's the bottom line. So listen, if you're a client of mine, a prospect of mine, someone that we meet, and maybe we're having dinner, having a chat, and you ask me about cybersecurity, I'm not going to be shy about it. I'm going to tell you what you should be doing, what you have to be doing in order to protect your data. And hey, if you decide breach detection, for an example, is not something that you need because you think that you've got it covered, okay. You don't. I'm telling you don't, but that's your business and your clients and your decision to make. But at least now you'd be informed about it, and that's what the Louisiana Secretary of State was trying to get to, is that we as an industry have to be more open and explain this stuff to us, because cybercrime is just getting worse and worse and worse. And people say, it'll never happen to me. Listen, I'm in a small community in Canada, and we had a business around here that got hit for $250,000. Who's got $250,000 sitting in a bank account just waiting to pay a cyber criminal? No one. No one does that. And listen, if you got $250,000 sitting in a bank account, wouldn't you much rather be investing that back into your business or paying it to yourself or whatever the case may be? So I'm going to wrap up my rant here. I'm kind of a little bit fired up, as you can tell, but I agree with the Louisiana Secretary of State. We as an industry are letting down our clients, and we have to be talking about the security so you understand what the risks are so you can make your own choices. And based on what I'm hearing, what I heard him talking about, if this starts catching on more and more governments are talking about it, I assume it's probably just going to be a matter of time before there are going to be some sort of standards put in place. It's going to be very interesting if that's the case. If we start moving in that direction, it'll be interesting to see what that might look like and how they're going to develop what that might look like. And for a lot of IT people, they're going to be scared about it because, hey, as I said before, sometimes people get into providing IT services because they got fired from their corporate job or whatnot, or the company's closed and they're just trying to get by. So it's a way, they own technology, they fix computers, and away they go. They think they got a business, but it's not necessarily a business that's protecting their clients. And that's what this Louisiana Secretary of State was getting at. And I see it as a problem. I've talked about it before, and it's good to see it's getting talked about more. And it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Hey, thanks a lot for joining me today as I got all passionate on this topic. And thanks for joining me on Scott on Security.